everyone, I'm Ian McCarthy of Lifting for Life and No Bullshit Bodybuilding, and today I'd like to talk to you about the idea that one exercise is better or more effective than another if it allows you to use more weight. To give an example, which admittedly I'm making up, but I don't think it's one which I wouldn't see, I think it's very similar to many I've seen, someone might believe that a squat is a more effective exercise, whether overall or for the quads, than a knee extension, aka a leg extension. And their reasoning will be, you're able to use so much more weight on a squat. I do first want to note that for a lot of people it's simply more psychologically satisfying, in other words, more fun, to use more weight, to do those bigger lifts. And I respect that. I think it's a completely legitimate consideration. But if we are going to come at this from the perspective of that which is physiologically optimal or better or best for hypertrophy, I think what we need to challenge is what seems to be the assumption that 1 pound or 1 kilo of external load on one exercise is equivalent to 1 pound or 1 kilo of external load on another. So if you just have more external load over here, it's better than having less over here. Because we need to look at things like, what muscles are involved in this exercise? Take that squat and that knee extension again. In the one case, quads are highly active, glutes, I would argue hamstrings much less so. I would even argue that squats aren't a great glutes exercise, but this is getting outside the scope of this discussion. But clearly you have multiple large muscles significantly involved in this lift, significantly involved in moving that external load. Let's say it's 300 pounds. Those muscles are moving at 300 pounds of external load. Over here, you're doing a knee extension, 145 pounds. Well, guess what? Your glutes aren't involved. Guess what? Your hamstrings aren't involved, at least not as a mover. So right away, you can see, I hope, that there just isn't an equivalence here. These two exercises are not sufficiently similar for us to say, okay, 300 pounds here is better than 150 pounds here. But we even need to look at things like, and admittedly this quickly gets outside the scope of what I comprehend enough to really be talking about it, but things like how close the load is to the relevant joint. Because you might have identical external load, but the load might be further away from the joint, so it's actually more difficult. The relevant muscle has to work harder to move it. Things like this. So it's actually fairly complex, and I think the simple take-home point is, unless two exercises are very similar in this way, I'm not sure I would say that they have to be literally identical, but very similar, you can't draw this equivalence. So instead of thinking like that, and this is kind of getting to another issue of doing this exercise versus this exercise, I think a better way of thinking about exercise selection is to look at any one exercise and say, what are its pros and cons? Look at a squat. What are the advantages of doing a squat, whether overall or for your quads specifically or glutes specifically, and what are the cons? Look at another exercise. What are the pros? What are the cons? And then look at how much time you have. Look at what you're able to recover from. Look at, do you have injuries that are relevant, etc. So very rarely do I find myself thinking, I'm able to use more weight over here than over here. But what I would say is, if those two exercises are sufficiently similar, and there's one case in which you're able to use a greater load, I do think that will probably mean the targeted muscles are exposed to greater tension. So a better way, not a better way, but an example of that would be, someone actually asked me a question about why I do alternating curls, specifically alternating hammer curls. And the reason is that in alternating, that rest between reps, you do one side then the other, and then the original side is resting, I'm able to use greater load with the same technique. Obviously I'm resting, but when I'm training one side, the technique is the same, so tension is higher. So that makes sense. In that case, it makes sense for me to say greater load, therefore probably better hypertrophy. But if I were talking about two different exercises, then it's much less likely for that to be a reasonable inference. So I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for your time. Let me know what you thought about this video. I hope you found some value in it. If so, please do like it. Comment below. Ooh, I should get back to doing questions of the day. I'm not thinking of a good one. Here's a curious question. Does anyone out there actually genuinely prefer stuff like knee extensions over squats, like high rep, like burnout stuff instead of squats? Because I feel like most people are going to say no, they want to do the heavy squats. So I'm curious to see if anyone will admit to it. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you soon. By the way, this lighting, it's just so good. All right, bye.